Greetings and salutations for the second time today, Dota fans. Welcome into the HyperX D2L, and one of the most highly anticipated series of the entire Western Division looms on the horizon. Alliance taking on Fnatic, and not just taking on each other for the first time here in the D2L, it's a run-back revenge match as these two teams met up once today already and went the distance in that tournament as well. Fnatic coming up short there, looking for some payback against Alliance, and Alliance has already played a couple of times here and off to a great start. They're sitting at 2-0. Fnatic making their debut yesterday, got a win under their belt as well, so that's going to be a 2-0 versus a 1-0 in terms of the overall standings. And speaking of overall standings, why don't we go ahead and take a look at how things are shaking out. We're only 3 play days into our Western Division play, and already we can see no surprise to see Alliance and Na'Vi sitting very near the top. Fnatic again with 1 win under their belt. They join them as the top 3. Evil Geniuses, the stat plate was made earlier today, so it doesn't reflect their loss to Virtus.pro. VP finally did get a win under their belt. Mouse Sports has shown their face twice and unfortunately kind of taken a black eye in both of those matches, so they're sitting at 0-2. Team Liquid and Dignitas both still waiting to make their debut, and they'll be getting into the action coming up a little bit later this week. For now, though, again, Alliance taking on Fnatic. Let's see how these two teams stack up against each other. Leading off with Alliance. Alliance, of course, a team that hardly needs an introduction. They're led by Loda on the hard carry position with Admiral Bulldog, arguably the best offlaner on the planet. S4, one of the more remarkable mids you're ever going to watch. Very often, mid players tend to be these high-flying playmakers, chance takers, etc. S4 really just plays an anchor role out of that mid position, has a slightly different hero pool that he favors coming out of mid as well, and a big part of Alliance's success over the last year. Ake, of course, a phenomenal Chen, a phenomenal support, and jungler, and EGM, a great hard support player that just completes and rounds out this Alliance team, the defending International 2013 champions. They're going to be looking to improve their record to 3-0 against Fnatic. Fnatic, again, only in action once. They sit at 1-0 right now. They're led by Fly on the hard support role. Era, of course, a phenomenal hard carry, often overlooked in terms of discussions about who the best hard carry in the West is. Era certainly deserves to have his name in that discussion. A great playmaker, great decision maker, more so than anything. His mechanics are spot on, and has a certain list of heroes on which he just has to be feared. Foremost among them, Lifestealer. We saw him in action on the Lifestealer yesterday, actually. And even though the hero is not nearly as popular now after being nerfed in 6.79, we saw just how much of a difference that hero can make when in the right hands. Hani, of course, hold downs the mid position for Fnatic with No-Tail on support. And No-Tail, a fascinating player in his own right, has a certain selection of heroes, foremost amongst them, Meepo, and occasionally you'll see Fnatic drag out that Meepo pick just as a surprise last pick and really can throw off any kind of game plan built around any other composition. And of course, Trixie in the off-lane. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. We've already got one best of 3 behind us. EG losing to Virtus.pro as VP got their first win under their belt in that series. Really an odd series. And this series, though, really, I think whenever we look back on this, obviously the biggest match of the West is going to be Na'Vi versus Alliance coming up a little later in our overall Western schedule. But I think we're going to end up looking back on this as one of the best series that we're going to see out of the West, and arguably one of the most important, because Fnatic, I think, is going to be able to get on a tear if they can get some momentum behind them, and getting a surprise win against Alliance here would be quite a coup for them. And given they already played Alliance once today, they're going to be coming in with a pretty good grasp of where Alliance is with their play and their play style. To break all of that down as we move into the draft will be Ben Merlini Wu, joining me as always with Nahaz Dota, giving us his expertise as our stats man. We'll be right back with game 1 of our second best of 3, Alliance versus Fnatic, here on the HyperX D2L. Stick with us, guys. We'll be right back.
10 seconds remaining.
And we're live. The draft underway here for game number 1 of our second best of 3. Naga Siren, Nature's Prophet lead the way for Fnatic. And seeing Fnatic favor that global strategy, no surprise to anyone who's been watching them of late. Alliance grabs up the Clockwork and the Lich. Saw some really nice Clockwork play out of Admiral Bulldog yesterday. And with Fnatic snatching up the Nature's Prophet, Lone Druid, not going to be an option, at least one wouldn't think it would be. Giving Bulldog does tend to be the primary Clockwork player for Alliance. So to break down the draft and lend his insight and analysis for the entire series as well as for the entire tournament here on the HyperX D2L, I'm joined once again. Welcome in Ben Merlini Wu. And Ben, we've gotten to see Alliance in action 3 days in a row now. They've looked as strong as ever. I mean, they really haven't missed a beat. And just continue to move well. Their decision-making is excellent. They were pressed a little bit by Virtus Pro in their first series that we saw on Monday. But, you know, we saw Fnatic in action as well. So impressed with this Fnatic squad. And I don't think it's any coincidence at all that two of the more impressive teams in all of the Western scene are the two who remain untouched following the roster shuffles after the conclusion of the International 2013. So we've got two very established five-man squads ready to go head-to-head here.
Yeah, this is going to be a really exciting matchup. You talked about how Alliance and Na'Vi is one of the most anticipated matchups, and it certainly is. But Fnatic actually beat out Na'Vi twice yesterday. I believe both were best of ones, but we may have a new top-tier rivalry coming around. Na'Vi, I'm still very much looking forward to the Na'Vi Alliance games. Those are very exciting, but this one I am particularly looking forward to as well. Fnatic has just been on an absolute tear lately. The only recent loss, I believe, is dropping to Alliance earlier today, also in a best of 3, but those were, I didn't get a chance to watch them. I believe we were casting D2L this time, but yeah.
It's Fnatic's one of those teams, and again, this five-man squad has been together for quite some time. They made their first tournament debut, in fact, in D2L Season 1, whenever I was had the pleasure of first beginning to work with the D2L team. And being able to watch them develop over time has really been a true joy and pleasure. Same thing with Alliance, dating back to when they were no Tidehunters. So you're talking two very established squads. The names, of course, very famous. The names only matter so much, though. It's all about the five-man cohesion that these guys have. And Fnatic has had their ups and downs. And, you know, granted, they had a fairly solid finish at the International 2013. There was a time period dating back to last spring, actually, when they were considered pretty much hands down the most reliable and overperforming team in the entire Western scene. And really, there's no reason to believe that they can't get back to that, even with the competition as stiff as it is, in particular against Alliance and Na'Vi. I mean, there are some other teams that have been performing extremely well. Empire, one of those teams that deserves to be mentioned in that discussion. But I think Fnatic's the team to watch right now. I mean, Alliance are going to continue to develop their play. Na'Vi, that same core five as well, dating back to their second-place finish at the International 2013. But I think Fnatic has big things on the way throughout the rest of 2013 and looking ahead to next year. Looking at the draft so far, they've paired up the Shadow Demon with Nature's Prophet and Naga Siren. Lich and Clockwork still waiting to be joined by a third hero. And it's going to be a Kunkka, so that's going to be create a fun dynamic to watch if Clockwork can get off some nice hooks and cogs with Torrent and Boat coming after that. Going to allow them to focus fire down some targets pretty damn easily.
Yeah, this is a pretty cool draft from Alliance thus far. We haven't really seen Lich much lately, simply because he's been banned out every time. Fnatic actually banned out Lifestealer themselves, and I know Lodo likes to play it, but Arrow's Lifestealer is just ridiculously good too. Kunkka being drafted this early, he's pretty good. Is he worthy of a third pick? Maybe just deny the Shadow Demon pick. He has a little bit of everything. His Ghost Ship keeps buffed and buffed, though.
Yeah, the thing about a Kunkka, I mean, it's... You know what Kunkka's going to give you. I mean, but there are some little things about him. For example, if you're anticipating any kind of aggression, which Alliance has every reason to believe is going to be coming, whenever you see a Nature's Prophet picked up, you can assume you're going to be having to deal with some split push, and the best way to make split push work if you're in Fnatic's shoes is, of course, to be trying to make things happen elsewhere on the map in small skirmishes or maybe even 4-on-5 kind of situations if you feel like you have solid enough team fight early on. The Mirana pick jives with that. They're going to want to use Moonlight Shadow to allow them to have those opportunities to get picks and to push off of them. Kunkka's Ghost Ship, though, even at level 6, only 60-second cooldown on that ability. And that just allows him to always be a hero who can defend a tower. I mean, when you're talking about the defensive efficacy of Torrent and even of Tidebringer in terms of melting down creep waves and so on. We don't know where that Kunkka is going to be going quite yet, though. We've seen teams like Mouse Sports experimenting with the hero as a roaming support. He actually can jungle. He's not super efficient at it, but if you stick him in the jungle, he can get to a fairly quick level 3, level 4, and begin to roam off of that. And they're going to go and grab up the Windrunner, and still tough to tell exactly how they're going to lane this out. S4 has taken Windrunner mid in the past and certainly in the recent past, so very ambiguous right now for Alliance.
I say, yeah, it's very flexible, too. They can put Kunkka mid even if they want to. That's something that's definitely been done before. Fnatic just going over it with a very traditional lineup. Shadow Demon slightly unusual, but it's a very good setup for Mirana if they want to use Shadow Demon Mirana as a roaming duo. But usually it's Naga Siren that sets it up with Mirana. But we could see Naga Siren run as a carry. So both of these teams have very flexible lineups. Carries that can interchange as roamers, as supports. I've seen Kunkka support too, pretty good with arcane boots.
What I feel like Fnatic needs right now is a hero that's going to give them some survivability, some kind of an anchor hero in these team fights. Depending on how they're planning to lane it, a DK, a Dragon Knight, I think would be okay, given that when you look at Alliance, you can assume it's probably going to be either a mid-clock or a mid-windrunner. Again, Kunkka can run that position as well, but that would be just as good. They just feel like they feel a little squishy right now, to be honest. You've got some escapability on Mirana, but Prophet, before he gets his items up, Shadow Demon and Naga Siren, of course, very squishy. Compare that to Alliance and how survivable they're going to feel with a Clockwork, a Kunkka, and a Windrunner, all augmented with Lich's Frost Armor. So, oh, wow, never mind. I guess we're just going pure out burst. How about we bring Zeus into the mix? And by the way, we mentioned this. This is the first time I've ever gotten to cast a Zeus in a professional match. One of the very few heroes that I have not casted at this point. I actually need to make a list and see what heroes I haven't casted in Pro Dota yet.
It's a good pick from Fnatic. They need a more team fight. Like, Naga Siren's like okay, but they don't really have anything to follow up. Really just like a Mirana Arrow, which is decent, but you really need something else. And Zeus will give them the team fight potential that they have. He'll also most likely be their solo mid. It'll help out their tri lane as well. And just overall a decent pick. Alliance doesn't have a really strong solo mid right now. If they do Lich plus X, Zeus will need experience, but he doesn't suffer that much if he doesn't have that many items. Kunkka will do okay. Windrunner will do okay. None of them can really shut him out pretty hard.
Yeah, it's this last pick for Alliance is going to set the tone. I mean, one would imagine. I mean, they could just flat out farm the Kunkka, let Loda take him. They're going to grab the Storm, so it's so tough to call. I mean, they have 4 heroes, and now we'll see Loda will be farming the Kunkka, so that should make it pretty clear who's going to be doing what with EGM on the Windrunner. Bulldog will be playing the clock almost certainly, and there you go with the Storm Spirit handled mid by S4. So they're good. Again, what worries me about this lineup from Fnatic is they're going to have to really make use of movement. Nature's Prophets. Global presence is fine. They're going to need to move very, very well with Mirana early on. Hani will be, as expected, taking Zeus into mid. They're just going to be so squishy until their item progression really gets underway. While you have a number, you have just a number of innately survivable heroes already up on Alliance. And if Fnatic can make sure that they're always in the right position, they do have a real large amount of burst. They have nice ways to take fights with Naga Siren's ultimate, with Mirana's arrow following a disruption, and so on. But I don't feel like this is a game where they can afford to get behind at all. If they do, especially in terms of experience, when you're talking about a Zeus being a big part of your early and mid-game damage, they could find themselves in trouble. So they have to play very tight Dota.
Storm Spirit is a very, very good pick from Alliance. He matches up very well versus Zeus. You just get a magic stick. Does he have one in inventory? Yes, he does. So he will be able to farm a lot in middle, and he can zip out of the net. No problem from Naga Siren, so no easy lockdown for him. They have to really be able to time the Shadow Demon disrupt into a bottom area if they want to lock him down. But aside from that, he has pretty much free reign. And if he gets a BKB, he can pretty much just zip around and do whatever he pleases. So S4 is a hero to watch on the side of Alliance. Kunkka is just going to do what Kunkka does, probably follow up a shadow shot.
Oh, what an arrow! Tossed that out about as far away as he could have been. I didn't see exactly where it came from. He had to have been standing here and just launched that bad boy as soon as the disruption went off. Fnatic with a very quick first blood. That's the start you want with this kind of a lineup, and a lot of heroes benefiting from that experience as well.
Yeah, very good play from Fnatic, knowing they have the way better level 1. Lich always going to sacrifice at level 1 with the new patch. And Windrunner not particularly useful at level 1 either. And Kunkka too. Their level 1's really, really weak. Fnatic totally knows that because they have the pretty much instant kill potential with Disrupt or Net into a bottom arrow, being able to execute that very well already pre-creep spawn.
That was just kind of a gift. I don't think they really expected to catch anyone. And in fact,
Zeus got pulled a bottle, or yeah, did he get pulled a bottle?
Let's see.
Yeah.
No, that's his. No, I think that's his bottle.
Oh, that's his first blood bottle? Oh, okay.
Yeah, his first blood bottle. There
wow, that is ridiculous. I was like, man, how did he start off with that many items? But Zeus, if he has a bottle and gets the early regen, Storm Spirit will probably be shut down and be forced to play very defensively with the amount of magic damage and spam that comes out. Trixie doing okay on bottom, EGM recovering after his early first blood, just right-clicking Trixie.
I like the choice to send Ake into lane here with Loda, obviously. Putting the Lich with your farmer is not anything all that unique, but just guaranteeing that he gets not only levels, but a fair amount of farm. You know, Kunk is one of those...
Up on top.
Yep, the arrow actually caught Loda. Loda went and tanked that. He's going to end up dying himself because of it, and tried to move forward. This is a horrendous start right now for Alliance, giving both of these to... basically, Mirana was in range for both of them. She was a big part of both of the kills, so... 0-2 Fnatic in this grudge match, rematch run back, off to a phenomenal start.
Yeah, really good play from Fnatic right now. I don't really know why Alliance is doing a double lane on top, one that is going to die again.
Arrow dodged by Ake that time. And now there's a very nice Frost Blast. No Tail taking a bit of damage. Ake's going to come after this. They got to be careful. Loda up in front. They're going to get Ake. It's going to be close. Yep, they're going to get Ake. That's another kill.
Boots. Loda and company should not have chased that. They're already in the defensive position, like already dying, giving up first blood on the bottom lane, already dying once up top. They have to play more passively, and it was nice that he was able to dodge the arrow there, but they should just take what they're given, be like, okay, well, we survived there. Let's just live to fight another day.
Well, here in bottom, Trixie's actually hanging and banging fairly well too. He's only got 5 CS, but he is level 3.5, so tough for a Windrunner and a Clock to put a lot of pressure on early on. The laning choices here really, really smart for Fnatic, and I feel like they predicted this effectively against Loda and company. Loda at 7 CS. I mean, that's the way to look at it, is right now Trixie in this 1-on-2 lane is roughly even to Loda in CS, and he hasn't died.
I think they should have just done a 1-1-3 as well. Just let Admiral Bulldog suffer up top. He's probably going to die, but at least he'll get some semblance of experience.
Right.
And then just let Loda free farm on bottom, because Loda is sitting at 7-1 CS. He's not that high level. He's already died once. He's actually rotated bottom. Trixie gets hit by a torrent.
And tried to get the Sprout off, but the battery assault catches up. He's going to end up dead under his own tower. And no, rocket flare from Bulldog. Enough to get the kill. Here's a rotation from Fnatic looking for a little blood here in middle. That's going to be No Tail and Fly. And Ensnare plus Disruption just so strong in conjunction with each other. Rotation from Loda, something they desperately needed. Getting Alliance on the board finally with a kill.
Soul Catcher plus Lightning Bolt is going to do so much damage. S4, he's going to get caught out.
Just level 4. Disruption's there. Hani's going to have the burst damage they need. And trying to bottle himself through this. Not going to be able to survive, though. Decent amount of damage coming out from the rocket flare, but in the end, Fnatic with a very high priority kill, bringing down the mid. They're leading 4-1. We've got 5 kills in a 4-minute game. The gold, though, remaining at least reasonably even. Granted, it is early. Still just about 600 gold going the way of Fnatic off of all of this action.
Yeah, once they get level 6 too, it's going to cause further problems for Alliance. Hani is level 5 right now. Trixie, even though he died once, almost level 5 too. Nighttime has hit. Second rune is a DD on top. And Nagasaturn just looking around for kills. Era actually coming up under a little bit of pressure up top. They should have done this from the start, though. Admiral Bulldog's up there right now. Lotus free farming bottom. But I guess maybe they anticipated Fnatic doing an offensive triple lane.
What actually would have made a lot more sense with Ake. I mean, with the Lich pick, even if you don't send the Bulldog alone, I mean, just the kill potential of EGM plus Loda on the Kunkka is so much higher against a Nature's Prophet than a Clockwork pre-6 with a Windrunner. And with the Lich there to help guarantee that at the very least Bulldog gets his levels, you're going to feel fairly comfortable in the knowledge that your Clockwork's not going to be totally handicapped. He might not be the most farmed, but with Sacrifice there to help with XP and, of course, keeping the lane equilibrium in your favor, you know he's going to get to level 6 at a decent clip. So Alliance a lot
of people on top. Look for Initiate from No Tail pretty soon.
Yep. Alliance took a little while to do it, but they did correct a laning choice mistake. Loda out in front. Here comes No Tail. EGM's over on the side. There's a Sprout that caught EGM. The leap from Era's there. They're going to try to follow this up, and they connect on the arrow. And down he goes, make it 5-1. EGM will be able to scurry back. No, he won't. There's an inst there going to catch him in the trees. Do they have anything to catch him? No Tail's going to be there, but a little too late. Besides, he had disruption on cooldown. So 1-5, though. And
S4 jumping on Hani in middle.
And up here comes the reaction. Ake's there to help. No Tail. No, thought him. That's a lot of damage coming out of Zeus's lightning bolts right now.
Yes, it is. Fnatic's doing a very good job of prioritizing the right targets. Notice they ditched top lane as soon as Admiral Bulldog went there because killing Clockwork is not important. They have to kill Loda, and killing Loda is exactly what they've been doing. 0, 2, and 1 on him. He has stashed some tangos. He's forced to just go damage control build, early magic stick, early stout shield, and just early items. No greedy build for him. No early Shadow Blade. Aki checking the 6-minute rune up top. It is a haste. Are they going to give it to S4? S4 actually jumps on Hani, but where's the support?
There it is. They catch him with a torrent, and Ake showed up, flies there, ready to help out if needed. But Hani just, at this point, even on his Zeus, he's just in such good shape, feeling very tough to kill. When you take a look at the Storm, he's right on par with levels, just didn't have enough help in terms of damage. Up at top, Bulldog, he's almost level 6.
Trixie's probably going to die to his haste, S4. Yeah. If he gets hooked, oh, wait, actually, Clockwork just 1 creep away from level 6.
And S4 right on top of him. He's going to have hook in just a moment. They're going to get Trixie in the cog, so it's irrelevant. This is how they need to be turning this around. That's the one very nice thing that they have going for them. Hang on, No Tail. Disrupting out EGM. Wow. Follow-up arrow. And can they kill him? There's the inst there to follow it up. Load is there, but can't do much but give a little Tidebringer damage. Fly's going to be brought back. There's Mirana's Midnight Shadow and the Mirror Image. The disjoint tower damage.
This is sick play on top by Trixie. Trixie, he actually died, which is fine. And then he uses Treants, and here was a cog right here in this square, and this one was opened up, and he kept blocking them with the Treants, and S4 actually tanked so much damage from the tower that he was able to get cleaned up by Zeus. That was actually, I was watching that instead of the fight on bottom. It was really nice play by Trixie.
Probably should have been watching that. Fight on bottom was just kind of a easy dive. But S4 going to re-engage, going to jump straight past the tower, trying to jump on Trixie. Trixie gets off the sprout. There's a hook from Bulldog. So Trixie beginning to come under heavy assault. EGM might get a kill on Era. Era leaps and tried to use his wand charges, just simply didn't have enough of them. No Tail takes a little bit of harassment on his way back out as well. But Alliance beginning to narrow that gap. It's 4-7 now, and look at that gold. We're basically back to even, only 250 gold separating them. However, Alliance is winning in terms of experience. So all in all, this is actually turning around fairly well for them.
It's really the Lich pick. Both the supports on Fnatic are level 4, even though I don't believe either of them have died, but Aki died once, doesn't matter. Sacrifice gets you back in. This is why Lich is one of the better supports. If you get behind, you have a comeback. We've seen Earthshakers and other supports just fall really far behind when they don't get kills early, and if they die once. But Lich, very safe level 6. You can usually get it pre-10 minutes.
And everything seems to have stabilized down, but what I was going to say is, before the action broke out on top and bottom, is that Alliance has a very nice, and this is in kind of in conjunction with your comment about the Lich pick. Hang on, Loda. Going to be able to loop around. We see the Shadow Demon. EGM might try to line up a Shackle. He is not going to be able to find it. But between the gank potential of a Clockwork and a Storm Spirit in conjunction with Lich's ability to help himself as well as anyone in lane with him, they actually have a team that can weather this kind of storm fairly well early on, and we're seeing that reflected in the stats right now. Fnatic still with a bit of a gold lead, but really, I feel like they need to be pressing a little bit. Again, Zeus sitting at level 8. He's not up. Hang on. There's the ulti. They are maybe going to get Loda. Loda's still alive. They're going to be up. End up trading Era for Loda, it would seem. But one last Sacred Arrow catches EGM. He's not about to back off. Here comes the Prophet. Trixie wants to come in and try to make something happen. EGM running away, and Trixie correctly anticipates where she was heading, right into the corner. So that's going to be another big exchange going the way of Fnatic.
Yeah, that's Trixie's Midas too. He was like hurting for gold too right before that, but with that ultimate and then with catching this and then getting the tower, Trixie right back in the game.
Nice torrent. There's an X onto Hani. There's a sprout on the Trixies. He tries to TP away. Bulldog with a hook point blank. He's eating a lot of damage, but should be able to clean one up. There's a Sacred Arrow off the mark. Bulldog and Loda getting a decent exchange, bringing Trixie down. He had already spent his gold. X onto Era. He will be brought back. Torrent will connect. Loda on the par with that, ensnared under his own tower. EGM's there to help. Nice shackle on the Era. Can they bring him down? They do manage to get Loda. Bulldog throws out the rocket flare. That'll clean up Mirana. No Tails there. Uses demonic purge on Ake. In the meantime, Bulldog pursuing him out with battery assault, doing the damage. Oh, I guessed wrong and where he went. Ake, EGM, and S4 are there. And looking for Hani and...
again.
Yep, there it is. Now he's spotted. Hung with it. Trixie comes in to try and bail him out.
TP scroll, 2 seconds on cooldown. Oh, so unfortunate for Shadow Demon there.
There's a buyback coming out of Zeus right off the bat, so a lot of action. We got 20 kills in an 11-minute game, my friend, and I don't think this is any surprise. During the draft, we knew we could expect some early fighting. These teams, having seen each other quite a bit recently, certainly know each other's play style and play tendencies. Both are using it to great effect. The rotations and movement on both sides are phenomenal right now.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Hani popped back there.
There's a hook.
He might die again.
Bulldog locks him in. He's down, gets the ulti off first. Will they follow it up? There's Lich's ult. It's actually going to be mirrored image out. And in the meantime, Fnatic looking to perhaps re-engage. A lot of damage done. Ake's very low health. There's a Tidebringer doing some damage. Demonic Purge goes off onto Loda. Loda, up there's a disruption to try and buy some time. Good torrent, though. Trixie going blow for blow. They get a double kill out of that. Bulldog has to retreat. In the meantime, S4's on the warpath. Going to jump right on the Era, make it a triple kill. And the Naga Siren, the only one surviving, but just barely, as Fly limps home short of level 6 with only 130 HP. Big turnaround there. Fnatic was looking like they might be able to take control of this early game. Alliance, after that, leads the kill score 14-10.
Huge play by S4 there, catching Zeus out of position. Like one slight misposition by Zeus, and his team just gets absolutely wrecked. I still don't know why he bought back there. He was doing very, very well. He has like the same items he had like 5 minutes ago, which is a pretty significant amount of time considering we're only 12 minutes into the game. S4 with a regen too, just zipping around nonstop, not even getting it popped for like a good 5 seconds. That was also a very big play. Definitely set up the fight for Alliance, and he was 1-2 before that, but he's 4-2 now. S4 doing really, really well in the Storm Spirit, killing Trixie twice on top already too.
How good is Admiral Bulldog, by the way? He traditionally pigeonholed as being, he only plays 2 heroes, Prophet and Druid. Yeah, he does play those 2 heroes. Alexi's arguably the best in the world of both of them. Now playing on Clockwork, and another one of his mainstay heroes, 5-0-7, has been a part of 12 of Alliance's 14 kills. And how about another? Hani going to be hooked right under his own tower. There's the Blade Mail up. The TP reactions are going to be there. S4 going to jump right on Fly. Never had a chance. Power shot coming out from EGM seals the deal. No Tail going to use Demonic Purge on S4. And Bulldog going to be disrupted. Era's going to whiff on the arrow. Shackle onto Era. He's going to be cleaned up almost certainly. Nope, never mind. Not enough right click. EGM going to be sprouted in, but Alliance in total control underneath this tower. Torrent will connect. And the Midnight Shadow still not enough. The spam potential, the AoE damage, just massive on the side of Alliance. And Bulldog will eat an arrow in the jaw. Let's see if they want to do anything about it. Just look at him, guarding him. Bodyguards up in front. No way they can engage off of it. 17-10. And Alliance, despite getting jabbed in the jaw a couple of times in the first few minutes, has just utterly dominated between 10 and 15 minutes so far. 5,000 gold, the advantage they've built. The experience is in 5-digit territory, and this is what we feared for this Fnatic squad. If they get too far behind in levels, they're going to lack the damage, and that's been the way it looked in the last couple of engagements. And as we could see, things stabilizing just for a moment. S4 might be ready to jump again. There's a rocket flare, gives them vision. S4 doesn't like the way it maybe he does. Nope, just going to wander up, take some last hits. Going to eat a little bit of damage. Now jumping on the Hani. Song of the Siren might allow Fnatic to get a little bit of payback here. And here we go. S4 going to jump immediately away. Thought they might try to disrupt him, but no tail. Never mind. Actually had disruption on cooldown.
They needed a bottom arrow for that. Naga Siren, no, hook shot.
Hook shot once again. Bulldog balling out. Finds himself another kill. EGM. I don't know how that didn't latch. Hani going to get his ulti off, but will end up dead. I have no idea how that shackle didn't catch those 2 heroes. That would look very well placed, but nonetheless, they get one of the 2. And this mid tower, probably not long for the world. The only thing keeping Fnatic's towers up right now is just how damn early in the game it is. Their respawn times are so low.
Couple things about Fnatic. They should have hit level 6 on Naga Siren a long time ago. She was like level 5 and like 80% of the way to level 6 when Hani got caught. It looks like Era's gonna die again.
Yep.
And Trixie might die on top too at the same time.
Up atop, Trixie throws out the Sprout. Torrent's going to be off the mark. Loda's right on him. Has an X, has a ship if he wants to spin it, but he's just so much faster. Trixie sitting on brown boots, never had a chance to escape there. And in the meantime, they're going to rotate off of the tier 1 dropping. Fly's going to get spotted by the rocket right there. Oh, the hook. First hook he's missed all game to the best of my knowledge. EGM wanders into a lot of damage. Will be ensnared. There's a demonic purge onto Bulldog. Power shot does some damage. Behind it, they catch No Tail with S4. 22-10, and this game quickly getting out of control. And yeah, they're going to call it.
Dang, that is rough. Yeah, not EGM. Fly should have hit level 6 faster. They had a really good start, but they weren't able to keep up the pressure. Since they didn't get any kills, they didn't get any levels. Song of the Siren was really desperately needed to protect Zeus. Again, the Storm pick by Alliance was just really, really good. S4 just absolutely crushing in the mid game, and they have no way to stop them too. Fnatic, sometimes you do need some disables and not just pure damage. They were playing very, very well in their early game when they got the first blood, when they got the couple of kills on top, but you can't keep everyone down on Alliance. You try and go for Loda, Admiral Bulldog will pull through, and S4 will, and they just have a really tough time shutting down the non-supports on Alliance.
How good is Bulldog? I feel like that bears repeating. 8-0-11 on a Clockwork, who honestly had an ignominious start. I mean, it wasn't like he started out amazing. He just kind of bounced from lane to lane, and they made a lane switch to help Loda out. And, I mean, 8-0-11 for him. 6-3, the finish for EGM. Feel like he played phenomenal. S4 on Storm Spirit, very good as well. This is the second fastest game in D2L Season 4 we've seen so far as Alliance trounces Fnatic here in Game 1. 23-10, the final kill score. Only 15 minutes and 42 seconds the time it took to put this one in the books. And just like that, Alliance one win away from improving to 3-0. Fnatic wants to avoid dropping to 1-1. They're going to have to win 2 in a row to do it. That's a tall order against most teams, but against Alliance might be a little too tall, especially if they're playing the way they did here in Game 1. I'm your host, Aaron A.C. Chambers. Thanks so much for joining us for the broadcast here today, guys. Our second best of 3, now with 1 game done. Fnatic trying to force a Game 3 as we look ahead to Game 2. Alliance certainly wants to hang a goose egg on them. We'll find out which team's up to the task next. Stick with us. This is the HyperX D2L. We'll be right back.